World News Europe has dodged Putin's gas bullet, but it's still thirsty for cheap energy alley tube. From the moment Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine seemed inevitable, Europe knew it would soon have to ask itself some very complicated questions. High among those was whether the continent could wean itself off the Russian gas it had thirstily guzzled for decades, and avoid being at the mercy of President Vladimir Putin should he cut that supply off in response to support for Ukraine. For Europe, energy security has always been a trade-off. Cheap, imported energy comes with the risk of dependency on the countries from which it originates. In the case of Russia and its natural gas, officials initially speculated that a long, cold winter in 2022-23 could force Europe to temper its punishment of Moscow. After all, developed countries like those in the European Union could not reasonably let their citizens go cold for the sake of Ukraine. A combination of luck, planning, and Europeans' support for Ukraine, however, left the energy war, once considered Putin's ace in the hole, redundant. Europe had an especially mild winter, while governments and citizens made a concerted effort to use less gas. That combination of a warm winter and lower gas consumption created a window for Europe to pivot from its Wandel durch Handel, change through trade, policy, which assumed that Russia would fall in line with Western values for cash. Step 1 was reducing imports from Russia. In 2021, the year before the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, 45% of all gas imported by the EU came from Russia. In Germany, that figure stood at 52%. Those numbers have since plummeted. According to EU data, in Q1 of 2023, Russia accounted for just 17.4% of all the bloc's imported gas. Step 2 was to take advantage of the warm winter and fill up gas reserves in preparation for the cold season in 2023-24. Europe's gas stocks are already so full this year that there is a consensus the Kremlin will not be able to weaponize energy in a way that would alter European resolve against Moscow and support for Ukraine. The EU as a whole hit its target of stocks being 90% full by mid-August, months ahead of its November 1st deadline. What's more, Europe has significantly diversified its sources of energy. Now for the bad news. Despite these efforts, officials and analysts are fearful that however impressive these advancements have been, Europe's energy is far from secure in the long term.